Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Film Snobbery Live. It's our first show of 2012, and I am your host and have remained your host, even through our short little departure from the air, Nic Baisley. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and chat moderator and filmmaker, Jerry Cavallaro. Say hello to the folks, Jerry.
Hello, folks. And Nick, you got a little bit of stubble going on.
Wow, that means you're watching the show?
Yeah, I decided to try it out and see
I'm
what everyone's raving about. And then I realized no one's raving, and now I know why.
Dude, I gotta tell you, it's an experience when you sit there and basically talk to yourself for an hour. It's like therapy. Like, it's just, I'm Sans therapist.
You should change that CGI couch to desk to a couch.
I totally should, except I don't have any skills and I'm quite lazy. But Jerry, just while we have you on, did you have a good New Year holiday, the whole nine yards?
Sure.
Okie doke. All right. So, not at all. It was a holiday filled with deep depression and an overwhelming amount of work.
Oh, well, then I can say ditto.
But things are so looking up for the new year, and we're really excited. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk to our guest tonight is filmmaker Meg Pinsonneault. We're going to have her on in a moment, and what we're going to do after that we speak with her is we're also going to have a little chat about some of the new features and things that are coming to Film Snobbery in the next couple of months, and some of them which are already present. So hopefully everyone will enjoy the show. As always, if you have any questions for our guest tonight, we want to make sure that you put them in the chat room. Jerry will go ahead and filter those over to me, and we'll make sure that we get all of your questions asked. We've got a great guest tonight, so I'm really looking forward to hearing your questions because I want to pick her brain. I'm sure you guys want to as well. So our guest for the evening, she made a movie and crowdfunded many movies. She made several movies. Worst introduction ever. But what we're going to do now is we're going to show you, we're actually going to show you a clip from one of her movies right now. It's called GUAPA. It's the movie she's out there promoting currently, well, one of the movies she's actually out there promoting currently that she directed. And when we come back from that, we're going to speak with the woman herself. I love having female guests on the show. It's a beautiful thing. A, because I get to flirt with them, and B, because I love female filmmakers. I love highlighting them on the show and in general because I know that they sometimes feel very insular in the world. And it's going to be great. So without further ado, here's our little teaser for GUAPA, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Meg, and it's going to be awesome. Stick around.
Ako si Teodoro Bulabos, mangingisda lang. Huwag kini akong asa si Violeta, si Lisame, 15 anyos, si Ruby, 8 anyos, si Subael, 3, si Ares, 2.
Ooh, look to my left, everyone. It's a lady. Well, let's bring her on right now. Everyone, please welcome our guest for the evening, Meg Pinsonneault.
Hey there, guys. Nice to join you on the show.
No, thank you for joining us, being our first guest of 2012, and I apologize. I am a bit rusty. I'm shaking off the cobwebs trying to get back into character, as it were. Do you ever run into problems when you're directing with your actors, just like, nope, that's not quite it, go again? Go again.
Yeah, of course. I mean, doesn't everybody?
I don't know. I don't direct anybody. I direct myself, which is horrible.
Oh, God, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, I guess one of the first things we want to address is what brought you into filmmaking?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like one of those stories we hear a lot. I started in acting and did the whole acting through high school, and I even went and studied and did a couple programs in Boston and New York. And then I went to Emerson College for acting and decided that that was not my true passion and switched my major to film and writing.
Oh, cool. Now, having gone to school for for acting and for for this career, did you find that school was useful at all in terms of where bringing you to where you are now, or did you find it was only useful maybe for the networking opportunities, or did you just like, wow, that was a whole waste of time, but at least I got a piece of paper out of it?
Oh man, I think it's a little bit of both, or a little bit of all of those things. And it was great for the contacts and great for having the ability to make the films you wanted to make, and then having a network of people that, for better or worse, had to watch it and had to make it with you and had to be there. So, you make a lot of really wonderful lifelong contacts, I think, through that experience. And not to mention, Emerson specifically has kind of like an Emerson mafia is what's referred to out here. So, it's quite often that you will come across a group of people, and there's 6 people there. One of those people went to Emerson. So that's really fun. But also, that being said, it's gone across my mind several times. I'm like, man, I should have just skipped all of that and come straight out here and just, came straight out of the cannon. But that's not what I did, and I am really grateful for my experience. And two of my very good friends from college are actually on this documentary with me, and coming with me to shoot when we leave on Saturday.
Now let's talk about this documentary GUAPA that you're making. First of all, why is this subject a why do you feel it's worthy of a documentary? Like, what makes it personal to you? Because that's usually how a documentarian works, is they find issues and things that are personal to them, and they try to make a movie out of it. How does this relate to you?
Well, actually, I kind of fell into documentary filmmaking in the first place, and I really, when I was in college, I studied narrative film, all narrative, and that's really what I love. And then when I came out here, I did art direction for about 3 years, and finally, got sick of it and needed to get my own camera, do my own thing. And that's what I did. And my first job was to film Faces of Tomorrow, which is the organization that helps kids with cleft deformities that we follow in this movie, that helps put these missions on. And their very first mission to Ecuador, I went with them and made a short, informational documentary about their organization that they can use for fundraising. And that experience in and of itself was one of the most just life-changing and amazing experiences that I've had. And when I was there, I knew that there was more of a story. And it doesn't have to be in the Philippines, it doesn't have to be in Ecuador. I mean, all over the world, this is happening to so many millions of families and millions of children. And I think that it's just something that people aren't aware of. Mm-hmm. And one of our biggest hopes for this project is that we will bring awareness to it. So it's a subject that just really touched my heart. And, that was back in 2009 that I went with Face of Tomorrow on the first trip. So this is something that, I've been contemplating for a while. And when they asked me to go with them to the Philippines for last year, and I heard about this family, I was just blown away, and I knew that that we had something really special there.
Now, as far as that family is concerned, were they really welcoming in terms of and open to get their story out? I mean, did you have to kind of endear yourselves to them first before you were able to really get anything, the kind of material that you were looking for?
To be honest, well, obviously, and anybody, even actors that you're working with, after a while, it gets a lot easier, and there is that part of working with somebody and having a trust for them, and over time that it definitely grows, and specifically in a situation where there's just a huge cultural gap, there's no communication, there's no way that we can actually verbally communicate to each other. But this family is so amazing, and they were so inviting from the very get-go. And, it wasn't after probably the end of the first day that the kids were hanging all over us. And, we were like part of the family. Like, they knew kind of, I don't think they quite understood what was going on, but they knew what was going on. And finally, for, I think in the first time in their lives, they were the cool kids in town. There's this really great scene in the documentary where everybody is following this family to the boat and wanting to know what's going on. What are all the cameras about? And, all the kids want to see their photos. They all want to be on TV, basically. And so it was really wonderful to see that process. And we really hope that we can bring awareness to situations like this. I mean, this family has 5 children, and 3 out of their 5 kids have severe cleft deformities.
Wow.
So it's obviously quite an issue.
Now, kind of going over to your professional career here, you're not one to make the same thing over and over. I mean, this is a documentary. You've got Feast of the Foolish, which is another movie that you've got out there right now. You shot on the Red One, and is more of a straightforward narrative. And then you have a Love Story, which is a stop motion stop motion. I don't know if it's animation. I haven't seen it, but stop motion. How do you choose your projects, and how do you choose the style in which you're going to portray them?
Well, one thing that I actually started out early on in my filmmaking career was that I don't want to get pigeonholed into making the same types of film. And that really comes from when I was an actor in my years of acting. I got pigeonholed, kind of typecasted into certain roles. And I think that when I started filmmaking, I knew that I have so many interests and so many different things that I can just take it and run with it, and that's what I'm obsessed about for the next 3 months to a year, or however long it takes to make a movie about it. And that's really what happened. So whether it be a documentary or a dark thriller or a period piece or anything, it's really what grabs me and what makes me think that there is something unique and special about a subject.
And going back to GUAPA for 2 seconds, we actually have a question from the audience. John Hoff the third asks, how do you balance filming versus keeping with the family's privacy?
It's a very, very intimate situation what's going on with this family, and specifically because there are 3 children, and it's a very, very crowded room where you've got, Face of Tomorrow last year did 55 surgeries. Unfortunately, this year, as a little side note, they're added a few surgeons, and they're doing 75 this year.
And so, let's attribute all of that to the attention that you're bringing there. Let's just do that. We're just going to say that right now. That you're going to just totally take credit for that.
Okay. Well, just to answer John's really quick, is that the family didn't care. They were totally open to letting us do whatever, and I think this is because they live in a nipa hut, as you saw in the little teaser there, that there's no doors, there's no running water, there's no electricity, it's made of bamboo. All the neighbor children were, running through the house as if it were their own. And I think that's just kind of indicative of the Filipino culture and how truly inviting and caring and trusting they really are. And that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to do this film, because I think the Filipino culture isn't something we normally see. And it's really wonderful. So that's also one of the reasons, kind of answers your other question too, kind of one of the reasons why we're, really targeting the Philippines. So it's not just about the surgeries, it's also about how just truly awesome these people are.
And another question from the audience as well is, can Meg tell, it's from Jake Stetler, says, can Meg tell us the origin of Thirsty Girl Films?
Sure, I love this question. I get it a lot. It's so funny because people are a lot of people react, they're like, oh, Thirsty Girl Films, we're all going to go out and get wasted. That's not it. It's actually...
I thought it was bloodthirsty. I really thought that, it's just you're going to come out and you're going to suck all our blood and take all our creativity, and then you're going to use it for yourself. It's you're going to use us to power you.
Oh, sorry, you cut out there a little bit.
That happens.
Okay.
What I said was completely crap anyway, so you know what? Let's just go with your answer.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Okay, wait, so what was the question? Oh, yeah, so The origin of Thirsty Girl Film was actually when I was a little girl, and even till this day, I drink a lot of liquids. I'm always freaking thirsty, and my mom called me her little thirsty girl, and just kind of remembered that, and when I needed a name for a company and it was time to do this, that's what happened.
You know, sometimes the easiest answers are the simplest ones. You know, she's like, I need a production company. I'm thirsty. It's Thirsty Girl Films.
Yes, thank you for getting it.
Cool. All right. So I got tied up here for a second in answering a Twitter question as well as your question and all this. Okay. So one of the things that all of your films have in common is that you did crowdfund all of them. And you chose specifically, it's actually, if anyone's on the website here and they're reading your bio, under where it says This Week on FSL, it does say that you use Indiegogo to actually promote all those projects. Why? Why did you actually, first, that's a kind of a two-part question. Why did you choose to crowdfund your projects, number one, as opposed to seeking out any sort of traditional investment opportunity or whatever? Or also, why did you choose, say, Indiegogo versus Kickstarter, you know, or any other platform?
Okay, very good question, and I have a lot of good answers for you, I think, hopefully. So when I first started doing crowdfunding, I had no idea what I was doing, what I was getting into, and I'm sure as most of your listeners know, it is like one of the most unbelievably difficult undertakings, depending on how much money you're trying to raise, obviously. And why we decided to crowdfund in the first place, I think, is probably not dissimilar to a lot of people's reasons. But it was because, you know, I tried the traditional avenues, tried to fund certain projects, and, you know, you get tired of the general rigmarole, and I wanted to be able to not only get an audience excited about my projects, but just be able to film the damn thing in the first place. So, and being able to get it out to said audience. So that's why we did it, and that's exactly what happened. You know, I wasn't even on Twitter before I started crowdfunding for Feast of the Foolish, and I can't tell you, so much of my success to this point, or my project's success, rather, is because of the absolutely wonderful and loyal community of filmmakers and artists and people that I have met on Twitter.
I will say Twitter is it accounts for, I'd say, a very high percentage of our, not only our site hits, but also, you know, when we were doing our crowdfunding campaign recently, same deal. I mean, we got, I think, almost all of our donations, or a very high percentage of our donations, from our Twitter community. I always feel that they're more than just you know, people who sit around talking about film or just interested in what we do. It's almost kind of like, I have a bad day, they're the therapist, you know?
Exactly, and
yeah.
everybody's doing the same thing, and it's, you know, it's really so much based on, like, you know, you got a project going, everybody gets behind it, and everybody helps promote it, and whether it's crowdfunding, whether it's like what we're doing right now, this Project of the Month voting system on Facebook. It's just crazy how many people are out there, and how lonely I really did. It sounds silly, but I felt so lonely. I thought I was totally alone in this until I got on there, and I was like, holy crap. I cannot believe what I was missing out on. I will be the first to say that I was wrong, and if you are not on Twitter, you have to get on it. It's just, that's the way it is.
And there's Twitter's new commercial right there from the wonderful and beautiful Meg. But here's the question I have. You mentioned there's this little voting thing going on right now on Facebook. People probably don't know about that. Why don't we fill them in on what you're trying to do?
Oh, wow. It's actually really exciting. If you have a crowdfunding project going on right now, you can apply to IndieWire's Project of the Day. And if they like you and they choose you, you're nominated for Project of the Week. And then you run a poll, which is voter-based on Facebook, and whoever gets the most votes at the end of, I think it's like 3 days, got a distribution meeting with Snag Films, which is really exciting. So we won that, and then that put us into the contest for Project of the Month, and that's what we're running right now. So if we prevail and we win this contest, then we get a meeting with the Sundance Institute, which is really exciting.
Now that said, Jerry, I know Jerry's watching and listening, obviously. Jerry, I want you to go ahead, and if you can find it on our Facebook feed, there should be a link to that contest. If you could do me a favor, post that in the chat room, and I want to tell everyone right now, I want you to go ahead and I want you to vote for GUAPA on that project of the, is it project of the week, project of the month? I forgot.
Project of the month.
Project
yeah.
of the month. IndieWire's project of the month. If you don't vote for GUAPA, I will personally find you and beat you. I mean, I am not a violent man, but I'm trying to win the heart of this beautiful woman. So you can't get in front. You can't get in my way. I'll roll over you like a bus. No.
You get to my heart by both.
Exactly. Just like you get to my heart through ham. Ham and cake. So.
Or bacon. I also love
bacon. Oh, I haven't had bacon in months, and it's really starting to affect me.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's so horrible.
Like, I mean, maybe, like, I've had a nibble on it, like, on a burger or something, but, like, actually having, like, I was just talking with someone today about this. I was like, I want breakfast with, like, a pound of bacon that's just mine. But
I've been there.
that's getting us off track a bit. Jake Stetler says, I eat bacon daily, and I hate him. Let's see. Let's see. And now the good news is that, at least last time we spoke earlier today, you are currently ahead in the votes. But we don't want you just ahead in the votes. We want you to crush your opposition. So
funny you say that. Yes, I totally agree. But funny that you say that because we're actually running against friends of ours. And I know you were saying this happens often, but man, it has gotten heated and competitive. And if my good friends over at the JB Project are listening, we love you guys. We are going for it. We know you are too. Heated race.
yes, absolutely. You know, I think that it's stuff like that that keeps independent film fun. It does keep it competitive. I mean, I hate the competition aspect of art in terms of, like, even at festivals when you go and, you know, there's the awards ceremony, and I'll go all the time and I'll be like, why did that film get an award and not this other film? Like, that was clearly superior. But, you know, sometimes it's just how either festival politics work, or it's just that the programmer or the audience or whoever has a soft spot for the filmmaker. I mean, Jerry's a great example of that, in as much as, you know, he won the Audience Choice Award at Staten Island a couple of years ago because he won over the audience with his movie Stuck Like Chuck. See, Jerry, I knew I'd get a plug in there for it. You can go see it over for free at stucklikechuck.com. See?
Oh, thanks, Nick.
See, I'm good to you. Even in 2012, I am good to you, sir. I only say that because I know we're all facing the apocalypse anyway, and it's not going to matter. So, tell us a little bit about, let's see, I want to know about everything, and I'm just absolutely, like, I got notes here, and I typically don't use notes, but I'm going off of them. I want to know a little bit about Feast of the Foolish, and what we're going to do is we are going to take a little break in between, chatting about this, and we're going to actually play the trailer for Feast of the Foolish. But I want to know if you could just kind of maybe prep everyone first about what this movie's about.
Okay, yeah. Feast of the Foolish is a short period thriller, and we shot it out in Joshua Tree on the Red Camera, and it was also crowdfunded. And it's kind of a femme fatale thriller, kind of has like a Deadwood Carnival look to it, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. So having the ability to, like I said, having the backing from my community, we did successfully fundraise the entire budget, and hopefully we'll screen at lots of awesome festivals.
And just before we go ahead and show the trailer for Feast of the Foolish, you want to tell them how much you raised?
We raised $7,600.
Heck yeah, you did. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to show a quick trailer for Feast of the Foolish. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Meg here about her visual style choices and how she makes her movies, and also we're going to talk a little bit about thirstygirlfilms.com and how you can get in touch with Meg to chat with her and be part of her community for her next project. So stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome, stranger. May I interest you in a game of chance?
Where am I?
Follow us, young man. Now, we have a long journey ahead.
I don't think I like this game.
Oh, foolish heart. This isn't a game.
And we're back, and I'm going to ask a question that I'm surprised no one really asks a lot, or I don't ever really hear it asked. What part about filmmaking do you hate the most?
Oh, wait, say that last part again. I'm sorry, I lost it.
That's okay. I know you were mesmerized by me on the screen here, right? Not at all.
Yes, you know.
My question was, what part of filmmaking do you hate the most?
I think it's the fundraising.
It's the financing and getting it all put together?
It really is. It's the technical parts of all of it, because I really do enjoy making films in all aspects of the job. Like it really is a wonderful process, and I think one of the most rewarding. But I think everybody hates fundraising. I think most of the people listening can agree. But what I think crowdfunding has done has really given us the bridge to get people excited about your project, get people invested in it, and really bring an audience that's going to watch your film when it's done and help you promote it and really get it out to an even bigger audience. And I think that that's something truly special and has definitely made me hate fundraising a lot less.
I actually want to talk to you for a second about promotion, and I want to talk to the audience about that for a second as well, because as my first guest of 2012, I have to totally say this. You're probably one of the best guests I've ever had in terms of promotion for your appearance. I sent you the prep sheet, obviously, when we were booking you, and you immediately got back to me and said, like, here's my headshots. Here's all the other stills and trailers and everything you would need for the show. And then you also went ahead and, you Facebooked it, you tweeted it, and you got everything done. And I got to tell you, I've been doing this show for upwards of 2 and some odd whatever years. And maybe even longer at this point. And I got to tell you, it is so rare that I don't have to chase filmmakers to get all of that information and to get them to promote their appearance. And it really does show. I mean, I'm sure that it's because we are returning from a bit of a hiatus, but I mean, we've got a great crowd in here tonight. I want to welcome, just while we're here, Zach Forsman, Jake Stetler, obviously Scott. I want to welcome, well, I already welcomed Jerry, screw him. Nathan, and who said that, by the way, that you're much better looking in person, or just as good looking in person, and I told him I was jealous. And
oh, thanks, guys. I didn't miss that one.
Oh, I didn't. So, any newbies that we have to the show here, we do have one, and I can't find Tauex Productions. I want to also say hello to. We've got some great people, and a lot of that momentum, and this also carries over to, I'm sure when you were promoting for getting your crowdfunding projects, having all that information together, really doing that outreach and promoting yourself. It makes a difference, and there's nothing I hate more, not just for me. I don't care if I'm sitting here talking to myself for an hour or talking to Jerry for an hour. There's nothing I hate more than having a guest on here that is awesome, has a great story to tell, and there's no one there to hear it until a couple days later when I put it up in the archive and someone happens to stumble upon it. I really appreciate, Meg, that you put forth the effort, not just for my show, but especially for my show. But you put forth the effort to really get the promotion done and do everything that you do to a certain level of quality. Which brings me back to Feast of the Foolish. You shot that on the Red One. Pourquoi, s'il vous plaît? Why?
I love this story. It's such a great story, actually, because when we started out this project, it was actually, low budget, and we were going to shoot it on, me and my close friends, we shoot on the 7D and the 5D. So we had all these cameras, and they're all, really great. We're going to have a little bit of money to maybe, get some lenses or whatever. So we start crowdfunding. And all of a sudden, a John Henry messages me and says, hey, this is my reel. I absolutely love your project. I can't offer you any money, but would you let me shoot it? I have a Red One. This is my reel. And he blew me out of the water. I didn't know what to think. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It was just, his work was absolutely beautiful. And I met with him and I told him, you know, hey man, we don't really have much to pay you. And he was just down, and the best DP I've ever worked with ever. And if anybody's interested, check out johnhenre.net. He's a kick-ass DP in Los Angeles.
Don't you just love it when things like just fall into place like that, especially, you know, when you're, you know, in that process of, you know, it can make a difference of like just the quality of the film. Like you're trying to raise, you know, your budget, and this just through resources increase the overall, you know, cachet of that budget by, you know, 10 times.
Well, and it really going back to how much we were promoting the project, and like you were saying, you know, I think it's kind of ridiculous if you're on a podcast and you don't promote it. I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good.
Now,
you know, no one's actually listening to you, and you're not helping to promote these projects you so much believe in. You know. So that's what, you know, that's how John found us, was just because we were hammering the pavement so hard.
Yeah, and you know, you say that you make the very, you know, obvious statement of, wow, you would think that people would promote. And I got to tell you, I mean, I go to film festivals all over the country, soon all over the world, and I go and I do this show every single week, thereabouts, and I have been for a while. And I got to tell you, filmmakers promoting their own stuff is like pulling teeth. And, you know, I've said it before, like, I don't care on the show. I'm not here to promote me. I'm here to promote you. You know, it's just, it's so weird that filmmakers have a hard time, and I don't know if that's because of I liken it to, I used to be a network engineer, so I dealt with a lot of socially inept engineers, and I kind of liken it a bit to that. You know, like, they're just introverted. All the passion and all the creativity goes up on the screen. It's their way of expressing themselves versus, you know, being personable. You know, I mean, even when I go to parties and stuff, like after parties and stuff like that, it's like going to a 6th grade friggin' dance again back in school, and all the guys are on the, you know, the sides. No one's going to be the first to ask the girl to dance, as it were. You know what I mean? For fear of, you know, any sort of cootie.
Exactly.
It's really weird. And I mean, I used to have that problem. I got over it. I was forced to get over it, because of this job, but other jobs I've held in the past. And it's really, I get very reflective about it. Obviously, I'm taking showtime out for it. But yes. Nathan says, Nick is awesome at Fest. He'll talk to anyone. Yes, Nathan, I'll even talk to you. Oh, and I want to make sure, I missed him earlier because I just called him the newbie. I couldn't remember his name. I do want to welcome the newbie, Ben Holbrook, to the show in our audience as well. So it's his first show here, and he came specifically for you. So I want to make sure that we give him a proper welcome. So let's you've positioned yourself with websites like Film Courage and Movie Garage and all of these other, you know, and obviously you're trying to do work with, you know, you're trying to get this IndieWire Project of the Month thing, and you've gotten all this kind of stuff. Do you find that doing all this different work for these other sites and stuff, it is for promotional use, but do you find that it is helping? And I know that that's kind of an odd question. Where I'm coming from with it is that we have 12,000 followers on Twitter, you know, and just, you know, in our different social networks and stuff like that, have various amounts of followers or friends or whatever. But you look at the financial, you know, anything but the social ramifications of that, and you sit there and you're like, wow, does it make a difference in my overall career? Do you feel that working with other organizations has really helped advance what you do?
Yes.
That's a long question. I apologize. I'm looking at that, and I'm even like, I'm bored by my own voice.
Yeah, I think definitely doing stuff like this, and you know, writing for Film Courage and Movie Garage and a slew of different websites has really allowed me again to just have even more outreach and being able to communicate with my audience and people who are actually interested in what I'm doing, and therefore I'm forging all these great contacts and relationships, and then, you know, everybody is writing and just doing an absolute wonderful bunch of stuff. I mean, what I find most right now in the indie film world, how I'm just blown away by what people are producing now. And so I think being really out there and just putting myself out there as much as possible has really brought a lot of people to me, and I've forged a lot of really great relationships, and I'm super grateful for that.
Awesome. And do you ever find that promoting through social media is ever a hassle? Like, you know, it's like, oh, I got to take time out of my day of either shooting or writing or anything else that you might do to, you know, it's like, oh, I got to tell them I'm eating a ham sandwich.
I think that, you know, it's just kind of part of the job now, and I hear a lot of filmmakers, a lot of people, and not even filmmakers, just indie artists in general, saying, you know, oh, it's too hard. Social networking takes up too much of my time. It's just, I can't do it. It's too hard. And I'm sorry, that's just the case now. That's just the way that you are able to get your work out there and promote it in a place that has the potential of going somewhere. Or you can just sit and complain about how social networking sucks, and which is what I did until I was forced to get on Twitter, and then I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I was so stupid. And I've really embraced all of that since then, and I think it's very important for people to realize that it's just, if you are an indie artist and you're actually, you know, you are truly passionate and you're going to do this, you have to embrace social networking, and you have to do it every day.
Now, speaking of being an indie artist, what are your future plans? Like, you're going to finish GUAPA and get that out there. You're already out promoting Feast of the Foolish and A Love Story. You know, what's the next step after that? Is it another movie? Is it trying to find a more wider distribution platform to, you know, whether traditional or otherwise, to try to get your film out there? Is it to try to work within the industry to kind of pull that somewhat Steven Soderbergh type of thing of like, I'm going to make a couple movies for them and then I'll make a movie for me or something? Or what's up next for Meg? That's what we want to know.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping like I said before, what I can do is to be able to be passionate about the projects that come to me and be able to choose what I want. And you know, God forbid that's what's going to happen. If not, we'll just roll with the punches. But right now, the plan is to, we're going to the Philippines to shoot the rest of this documentary. We get back in the end of January, and we're going to go right into post. But I'm also in the middle of writing a feature-length script with a good friend of mine. Her name is Megan Brown, so another awesome female writer and filmmaker. And we're writing a kind of a dark thriller, very grassroots type of picture about a female documentary filmmaker who over time loses her vision, and because of it kind of starts to lose her mind and has to fight for it. So I'm really excited about it because it's very different from everything I've done thus far. So it's kind of something that I'm really excited to get GUAPA in the can and come back and start working on that project.
Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to, you will see, I'm going to say it here because it'll force me to do it. You will see a review of Feast of the Foolish very shortly on filmsnobbery.com. By shortly, I mean hopefully within the next week. We're just trying to clean up some projects, which we're going to address a little bit. Once those are all done, we'll actually be making a lot more time for getting some reviews out. We've got to actually have a couple more writers joining us. I'm really excited about that as well. And I'm really excited about having Meg here on the show as well. And I want you to thank you for being the first guest on Film Snobbery Live for 2012. And let's go ahead and let's tell everyone where they can find all of your stuff. Right now, you can follow Meg over on Twitter at twitter.com/thirstygirlfilm. And you can find her website, her production company website, www.thirstygirlfilms.com. Where else can we find you?
We're also on Facebook, and my personal Facebook is Megan.Pinsonneault, or Meg.Pinsonneault, I'm sorry. And Thirsty Girl's Facebook page is thirsty.girl.com, or actually Thirsty Girl Films. Yeah, I think that's our Facebook.com.
And if
so
you
can also find GUAPA on Facebook too.
And if you need help spelling Meg's last name, as I did, it's right there. So you can go ahead and just copy it right there. It's on the screen right now. That's really great. And again, I want to thank you profoundly for not only, again, being the first guest of 2012, but also being a guest that was a joy to have on the show and had a great story to tell, or many great stories to tell, but also someone who actively participated in the interview before the interview.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Like I said, we, as filmmakers, should be happy and elated to be on a show like yours. Thank you so much for what you do, guys, and I really appreciate being on the show, and it was awesome. Thank you for starting out 2012 with me.
And hopefully we'll start every year out with you promoting a new movie and us being able to help you in some way. That's our goal at the end of the day, is to keep making sure that you are able to make more movies and promote them and get them out there. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. And everyone, that was Meg Pinsonneault. She's, again, twitter.com/thirstygirlfilm if you want to follow her. And you can find all her other production company information, like we said, over at www.thirstygirlfilms.com. And I'm sure that there's links to everything else on there. I want to go ahead now. Normally, we would take we're going to take geez, I don't even know what I'm doing. Normally, we would take a little break and we would go to a sponsor message or something like that. But I've decided, we're having a really good show and no one's paid me to be a sponsor, so fuck them. And we're going to continue with the show. We're going to talk with our good friend Jerry Cavallaro. We're going to fill you guys in a little bit on what we've been up to during the break and what we've got coming up in the near future. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk a little bit about some of the changes that you guys will find on FilmSnobbery in the very near future. Jerry knows a little bit about that too. And Jerry, do you approve of what we are doing? Does this have the Jerry Cavallaro Stuck Like Chuck stamp of approval?
Sure.
You don't give a shit, do you?
I barely notice the changes because every time you make a slight change, you send it to me and you make me look at it. So it was such a gradual process.
It's kind of like if we saw each other every day, but I was losing weight, like you would never tell. Like,
yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
I gotcha. As opposed to like if you didn't see me after a couple of months and I dropped like 20 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Or like all of a sudden you have hair.
That's never going to happen. You kidding me? I need Rogaine for my pubes. Forget about it. Wow. Yeah, I went there.
The show immediately went downhill after the guy.
the girl's off the phone. Now we can work blue.
Now we get weird.
That's weird. I almost said that's racist. It's not sexist. Girls are much dirtier than men are. If you've ever gotten them alone in a room, or a group of women alone in a room. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Neither do I.
Repo Man 1 says, who's Michelle? Does she have an IMDb? She is on IMDb. Just look her up. I'll put her name here below Jerry's picture. That is her name. Go ahead and just look her up there.
Everyone was talking about Michelle. I'm thinking Michelle Simmons.
Oh.
There's just a private conversation in the chat.
Oh, Michelle. Yeah, Meg is our guest. That's the name. Michelle. Yes, Michelle Simmons. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. It's been a long day. But I'm really excited. Let me talk to you guys a little bit about some of the stuff that we've got going on here at FilmSnobbery.com. What we just did is, over the past month or so, is we kind of converted all of our reviews over to a more manageable, format. What we'll be adding over the next month or so through our back catalog and through our future reviews is, we've already in the past have had our interviews, we've had trailers, we've had press releases and stuff that we've released, but what we've never done is, they can get kind of convoluted in terms of searching for stuff and finding it all on the same page and blah, blah, blah. What we're going to be doing with all the reviews and stuff is you'll find the review of the movie, you'll find tabs along the top, and from there you'll find tabs for like stills, other media, trailers, stuff like that. So, when we review Feast of the Foolish, you'll see a media tab, and you can link back to this interview, and you can watch the interview straight from that same page. So that way you don't have to looking all over the site. You can see stills from the movie, you can see trailers, everything right from that one page. Not only that, but we're also going to go ahead and we've implemented a rating system, which we're going to be, again, going through our back catalog and adding ratings to all of the old movies that we've reviewed in the past. And we'll be doing that all for future releases as well. But what makes that special for us is, and what we're reacting to is a a complaint that we've been getting from a lot of filmmakers about, and Jerry actually is very qualified to speak on this, is the weighted reviews and the shitty way that IMDb reviews movies in terms of the user reviews. Jerry, do you want to talk a little bit about how IMDb does that and why it sucks?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I don't
You
know
always
exactly
act
how
like
they
it's
do
a
it.
fucking surprise or something like that. Like I'm asking you to do something, you're like, really? You want me to talk?
Yeah.
Like I'm not
wow,
prepared for
I
that.
get to speak.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Tell them about.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
they have these weighted reviews that kind of suck, especially for indie film. They're kind of geared towards taking the weight of taking all the reviews and getting averages, but it works when you have like thousands of reviews because then it kind of balances out. Because the way it's broken down, I'm going to go to my page right now, which now mine's a 6.2. Mine went up from a 4.8 to a 6.2. It was originally like a 7.9 or whatever, and it keeps changing, and the number of reviews for it doesn't change. So I have no idea why my actual rating keeps jumping up and down when there's no other reviews being added to it.
Yep.
But that's just kind of beside the point. The way they break it down by country, and then by gender, and then by age.
Yep.
So the problem is, if you have only like 20 reviews or 25 reviews or something like that, and like only one person in this country reviewed it and they liked it and they didn't like it, they gave it like a 1 or something, or even if it was just like a spammer or whatever, gave it a 1, and then like everyone else is in another country, the average of the other person's goes up against that 1. So instead of being like the 1 counting in together, the 1 counts as like 3 times more than the other reviews.
Right.
So it's really like convoluted and doesn't make sense except for big mainstream films that have like thousands and thousands of reviews.
And the funny part about all that too, Jerry, is that we found that even if you do the math on a lot of those weighted averages, because it's not just taking all those different things and taking the breakdowns and then averaging them all together, it's averaging them individually and then averaging the average, which is ridiculous, and it's like retarded math, But the fact of the matter is that even if you do that math, a lot of times that average still doesn't make any sense. Like there are movies that I know of that have had like a 9.2 and even but have been dropped down to like a 4 point something, and when you do the average, even if with the weighted average, there's still like a 7 point something. So you have to wonder if it's more like a dig.com, for those of you who might be familiar with dig.com, dig.com, where they it's user submitted stories that are voted up and down. Now what happened over the course of many years while it's been up, they've given certain power users a heavier weighting rating than in their ratings than other users, like casual users. So I'm wondering if that's the same situation that's happening on IMDb, is that they're getting people who rate lots of movies more weight in their review, their voting than
I also
the average
wonder
user.
if the that movie meter thing on the top that like ranks the film and tells you what level it is, I wonder if that has some effect on it also. And I don't even want to know how they come up with that ranking system.
Yeah, it's funny because you have so many people, like, they'll tell you, I get emails all the time, they're like, if you wouldn't mind please rating our movie, if you've reviewed it, could you rate it, but don't rate us like a 1 or a 10. Try to rate us like an 8 point something, because they throw out...
I don't think they count 10s or 1s.
Yeah.
Or there's something where they count less. Because it was at a point, like at one point, I got a bunch of 2 ratings before I released my film. When I announced that I was releasing it for free, this was like 8 months after I've had any festival screening. It wasn't out to critics or anything, so there was no reason why anyone would have watched it and just rated it then. And in 1 day, in 1 hour actually, I had 3 2 ratings. And I think I kind of know who posted like those. And so I started saying, like, this really dropped my average down. So I had a bunch of people start rating it 10. And I was like, no, don't rate it 10. Rate it whatever you want to rate it. And they changed their 10s to like 8s and 9s, and my rating went up higher than when they had the 10s there, which that really doesn't make any sense. And like it's just really weird. And like I said, my rating, I've had 28 ratings for a couple of weeks now on the film, and my ratings went from 7 down to 2, down to 4. Now it's in the 6s, and I have not had any ratings change. No one else has rated the film. It's just it randomly moves around, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, let's go ahead, though, and tell them why we're telling them all of this, which is all of this exposition. But it's because...
I have no idea, Nick. Why don't you explain?
Well, I've already said that we were implementing a site-wide rating system, but you'll be able to compare our site score by rating the movie yourself. And we're hoping that through the transparency and I'm not fucking at all with the rating system. I'm not weighting anything. It's, a 1 to 10 rating, stars type of deal. You click on something, and that's what it is. And what we're hoping is that this will give a more truer indie film lover kind of user rating, and we're hoping that filmmakers will direct people to rate there versus IMDB, because the only way you're going to affect change is if you change it yourself. And so we wanted to be more of a service to independent filmmakers, which obviously it'll probably take a little while to take off on a site-wide basis and on a community basis, but we're hoping that people will find that they're going to get a more honest opinion of what people think of their film by using our system rather than IMDB's. Again, we're not trying to compete with IMDb, because I don't think anybody can, but at the end of the day, and I got this question once at a panel, they said, sites like mine or sites like IMDb, what good are you? And I'm like, we're only as good as you allow us to be. I mean, at the end of the day, we're tools for both filmmakers and for film viewers to become informed or to promote. And, it all depends on how you want to use us. Obviously IMDb has this, they are an industry standard in terms of getting a lot of information for things. For us, what we're hoping to be is more of an indie industry standard for just really being able to get all the information about this movie in one place and really have the transparency with us that you don't see on a lot of other websites like IMDb. No cock and bull type of, secrecy weighted shit and all that. So, that said, what we're doing is we've got that going on. We've also, speaking of transparency, we've also put out on our front page, FilmSnobbery.com, you can hire myself as a consultant whether or not you are a filmmaker or a film festival. Now, we've promoted this in the past kind of informally, but we're really putting it on Front Street because another goal for us this year in 2012 is to be sustainable, just like all of you filmmakers are. And the way we do that is by you guys allowing us to help you hire us on, and there are different levels that you can hire us on at, both as a filmmaker and as film festivals. We have experience in doing what you need us to do, so we're happy to help. We just want to eat just like you guys do, and I know I just tend to eat more than others. So that is everything that we've got going on right now on the website anyway, and I know that Jerry's got some great stuff in the works with, he's been working very diligently trying to sell scripts and sell t-shirts over at directorscameo.com and other, he's trying to be that indie film mogul that we all know he can be. So,
Aww.
So we've got some more announcements coming up in the very near future. We've got some great guests that are going to be coming on the show soon. We've got Vivian Kerr. We've had her sister Marion on the show a couple of times. We have Chris Gore, who's going to be joining us possibly in the beginning of February. Jace and Tiffany Bartok, their film that they were just crowdfunding for, and they're still trying to get made, Tiny Dancer. And they're going to be on. You might recognize Jake from the Cake Eaters. Jace, rather, not Jake. Jace from the Cake Eaters as both an actor and he wrote the screenplay as well. We've so many people coming up. If you guys want, we were just talking about it on our newsletter. You can go, there's a tab there that says subscribe. You can actually get Film Snobbery information in your email every month. Go ahead and you can just subscribe there with your email address, and we'll be happy to make sure that you stay apprised of what we're doing. The next 6 months, all the way...
Do that if you like nice, good spam.
Totally. It's a nice looking newsletter, so even if you consider it spam, at least it's pretty to look at.
It's good spam, and it doesn't come too often, so it's a treat when you get it.
Yeah, it's once a month if I remember. That's what we got. We've got some great conversation here going in the. Looks like we've got some great people and great conversation going on here in the chat room.
Yep, I'm whoring out links.
Everyone's whoring out links, and I'm fine by that. That's how we all work together, and It's all great. Hey, Nick's in a ball cap. Don't think I've seen that before. Oh, I've worn this. Everyone's saying that. I've worn this hat before, haven't I, Jerry?
A few times, but not too often. That just means you have to watch the show more.
There you go. My wool cap, the brown one that you guys are more used to seeing me in, is actually at the dry cleaners. I actually have to get that one out of there. It's like $3. I just can't be bothered to make the trip because I'm lazy. And yeah. So that is. Let's see. Send Nick fun new lids tomorrow. I would love if people would send me hats. I really would. I wear the cabbie hats, the Kangles, and I wear, ball caps and stuff like that. Always happy to do that. And if you want to promote your movie or you want to promote something you're doing, and you want to give me a hat, a beanie even, or something like that, fuck it, I'll wear it on the show. I'll wear it at film festivals. I do that all the time. I get shirts from people all the time. I wear them at film festivals.
If I send you a bald cap, would you wear it?
I would, dude. Yeah, ready? There. I'm wearing the bald cap.
Someone has to send you like a hat that just has their film right on it and the link, and then that's free sponsorship, people. So do that.
I think at some point I will be drunk enough to actually let someone advertise something on my head. I think
I've told you so many times that I will pay for a Stuck Like Chuck tattoo across the forehead.
Well, it's not I wouldn't do anything permanent.
Well, no, but a henna that'll last 3 weeks.
A henna that'll last 3 weeks. How about a rub-on tattoo that I can get rid of in the shower, Because if I have something stuck like Chuck on me, I'll be rocking back and forth in the shower, must get clean.
Yeah, but then you'll be in the shower with Jocelyn, because I'll put a movie poster. It'll be a movie poster tattoo.
Yep. Oh, and someone said right here, it's Michelle. We all know Michelle, Mojave Musing in the chat room says, sorry I was too late to hear you talk tonight, Meg. We'll catch the interview when Nick posts it up. That being said, what we're going to do is, this should be up in the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in a couple days, so right after we end the show tonight, I'm heading up to bed to dream of better things for the indie film community. I'm
going to rewrite my script again.
You are. I'm really excited for 2012. We've got a lot of things kind of in the hopper. I want to kind of say, we've got, hopefully I'll be in LA in April with the First Glance Film Festival. We've got a possibility of some film festivals at the end of the year already starting to shape up. One major film festival that I'm really happy to hopefully be a part of. We're just solidifying details. Can't talk about it too much yet because, there's nothing there to talk about yet. But there is a negotiation going on. And we've got, obviously our main festival tour starts in June. So between now and June, I think we're going to be focusing on reviews, whittling down the vast queue of independent films that we have to review, and getting everything kind of set up as we move in and move forward. And I'm really, really excited. I'm excited to be back. I do miss it when I'm not here with you guys. It gets very depressing. I get that kind of I didn't get a chance to experience the whole euphoria of coming down off of the film festival circuit last in November, December, because I was sick, and then the holidays kicked in and all that, and I actually just got really freaking depressed. But now that I'm back, I feel the creative surge from all of you guys out there and girls, and I'm really excited to continue to move forward. So that said, I think we're going to wrap it up for the night. Wow, we got good timing going on here. Very, very excited. Very, very excited. Jerry, anything else before we get the hell out of here?
Not really. See you next week.
See you next week. So look at that.
DirectorsCameo.com, StuckLikeChuck.com, JerryCavallaro.com. Follow me on Twitter. I get stuck. See you next week.
All right. I'm obviously not going to let you have the last word on that one, even though that had a lot of finality to it. But yes, folks, we will see you next week at, let's see, what is the 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over here at FilmSnobberyLive.com. You can catch everything we do every day at FilmSnobbery.com. Follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, please, over at Twitter.com/FilmSnobbery, and also on Facebook, Facebook.com/FilmSnobbery. thanks for another awesome evening of fun interviews and great chat here in the chat room. I want to thank everyone again who showed up, and we will see you next week.